Hello, hello, hello everybody, this is Fully Off and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft on the Just Vanilla server. You left me the other day standing on top of my nearly finished, new improved villager breeder. Well, I'm glad to say that we've done it. We've finished the breeder, we've tarted it up a little bit, we've put the baby expellation, is that the right word? Expelliator? Anyway, the thing that fires the babies out when they're born at the bottom, you probably see the obsidian slime blocks just below me. We've got the guy above us with the doors and everything. We've got, I'll show you the stuff down the bottom in a second, but anyway, it's working. So what I want to do today primarily is test it out. I've fed them a little bit already. Hello, Mr. Pigman. I've fed them already. I've fed some of them already. I've not fed all of them, but we've not turned it on yet. To turn it on, we need to put a block above the doors, ultimately I'm going to have a switch on it and it's going to pop up and down, and we're going to be able to activate it from here, possibly even down at the bottom. Probably down the bottom is a better idea, but at the moment we've not had it going. So if I just lob a few more, we're going to feed these guys potatoes, so if I just lob these guys a few more potatoes, yeah, you have those. Now I'm going to run upstairs to the guy above the door and put a block. Have I got a decent block, or is it going to have to be? Oh, Smurf's going to kill me. I'm going to use netherrack. That's really going to upset him. So let's just run upstairs. Had to lower this down as well by a few blocks. I was pretty sure I'd built this level a little bit too high. So hopefully this will work. So we'll stick in our temporary stopper block. Have a look down. Can we see any hearts? It should be pretty instantaneous. Babies probably won't be, but hearts should be. There they are. Already we've got some hearts. Fabulous. So let's get on that platform, and actually what we'll do is we'll get down the bottom and I'll show you where the babies are going to come down to. So they're going to be shot out of there, out of that hole, and they're going to go down and fall into that hole in the sea, this hole here. And at the bottom of this hole we've got a collection area where the babies are going to fall into, and down the bottom of that I'll make a proper entrance for this later, but at the moment it's just going to have to do. This is the bottom of the hole, so they'll fall through the sea and they'll land here and they'll get forced over to that slab where they're babies, where they'll grow up. We can't have them in the system. Can't have them in the system if they're not grown up. We've just updated the server as well. We're rocking 1.12.2. Oh, look at that, right on schedule, a baby. We're rocking 1.12.2 at the moment, but they haven't updated voxel maps. Now I've only just started using voxel maps, crikey, and I'm lost without it, although I've not been using it forever, and I've only just started using it. Because it's not there now, I'm missing it. So every little sound now, I'm looking up at the top corner to see if I've got a mob coming at me. And obviously I can't see, which is slightly annoying. So anyway, this is working great at the moment. Give me a few minutes and I've got to wait 20 minutes for these guys to grow up. So we're starting to get a few in there now. When they've grown up, they'll go around here and they'll get picked up by this minecart. And once they've been picked up by the minecart, they come up here, they come up these rails underground and through into the villager trading hall, or the villager trading hall sorting system. You know, the thing we built the other day? Right, don't look. So they come through to here, which is a judging area, really. I mean, we could have, in theory, there was no reason why we couldn't have made this the trading hall, but we didn't want to. We wanted it separate, so we didn't have dross next door in the main trading hall. So once they've grown up, they're going to come through into here. At the moment, we've got pressure plates on there to stop baby zombies jumping in. I'm not convinced that's going to work. I think I might have to change that to carpet or a trapdoor or something else, something with a bigger hitbox. At the moment, I don't believe that's going to work to stop baby zombies. So give me a few minutes. We'll wait for those guys to grow up, and when they grow up, we'll come over and see what we'll test them, we'll judge them to make sure it's working. Oh, also I've put a piston feed tape down at the bottom, right down at the very bottom where the beacons are to get these to change colour. No real reason really, I just liked the idea and it was something that was easy to do. So I did it. So anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you for 5 minutes, and well, for 20 minutes, and as soon as these guys start growing up, I'll come back and have a look at what they're doing. I do love it when their little legs are going 10 to the dozen as they're flying through the air. It's fantastic. And so far we haven't lost any. In my testing world we lost a few, but on here we haven't lost any. I've not seen us lose any anyway, and obviously they could have done, but at the moment everyone I've seen fall down has landed exactly where we wanted it to land. Okay, we'll see this final one. It looks like a little green coat. We'll see the final one go. And then we'll head down and have a look what's going on. Oh, brilliant. I say brilliant. Are you going to start suffocating? Maybe that's not brilliant. That's better. Excellent. So once he goes through there, he'll come through to here. Get pushed down to here. Eventually. Picked up. And then off he goes, and another minecart's dispensed. So it's fully automatic once he gets down here, as long as we keep the... maybe I'll have to play with that a little bit. That's clearly not ideal because we've got babies on the platform, but at least he's not going to suffocate while he's there, I suppose. So that butcher, your stay of execution. Oh, we've had a little baby through. That can't be allowed. That can't be allowed. Oh, there's some work to do on this. You can't be in the system. Okay, well that will mess it up, so we'll have to go through and get rid of him to start with. But, apart from a little bit of tweaking, the system seems to be working fine. So let's get up here and make sure they're getting into the trading hall section. Fabulous, we've got a couple here already. So the little baby one should be arriving any minute. See, I can't let him stay in here because this system works entirely by, well, not entirely, but a big part of it is the fact that the adults stand with their heads in the string, which indicates to the track at the top that there's somebody in it. If the babies come, if they're there, the track at the top still doesn't think there's anybody in there. So the next one to come along will land on top of him. So we're going to have to get rid of him. Let's pick an area to put him into. You see, like that, exactly like that. So hopefully that's okay now. I'll flick the dead man switch back on again. I hope we don't want this guy. No, you're okay to stay there to die when you grow up, but that is a little issue. That's something for us to sort out. However, at the moment, this seems to be working fantastic, so we'll wait for it to fill up a little bit. and then we'll have a bit of fun with the villagers. Okay, so while I've been waiting for these guys to grow up, the last few, I've turned the breeder off upstairs now, so we should, and it doesn't turn off straight away. So we have had a few stragglers come through, but not many. It should have stopped. The fact that I've not fed many of them, that was handy. I spotted that, otherwise they'd be dying on that trapdoor. I've not fed anymore. I've not fed loads at this, so we've not had it running at full capacity. But in the meantime, while I'm waiting for these few to grow up, I've put another source block at the top there to make that too wide. And I've also put a slab in, put a trapdoor in here, which makes the babies a little bit lower down. I'm hoping the adults will still, I don't know whether they will. I'm hoping the adults will still be able to reach the source block and go up. If they can't, then we're going to have to revert it back to a slab. But that gives the babies a little bit more room to jump and hopefully not go up into the stream, so to speak. So we'll just wait for these last 4 to grow up. Shouldn't take too long. It won't for you. It won't take too long for you anyway. But I'll just sit here for another couple of minutes waiting for these guys to grow up, and then we'll go back and see how many we've got for the 20 minutes we had the breeder working. So I've checked back at the drop area to make sure there are none left since I've turned it off. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is that 11? 11-ish plus the one we lost earlier on. So I think that's a pretty decent return for the amount of breeders we had working. I think there was less than half of them working for about 25 minutes, and we've got 12 villagers. So that's fantastic. We've got none down here, right? So what I need to do now is we need to get rid of the useless ones to start with, i.e. those two. Now, ultimately, we're going to have a disposal route. If you, as you may remember, if you pick a farmer, for example, he'll go through to the back of the trading hall with the farmers, and if you pick a librarian, he'll go down one side, and if you pick another armourer or whatever, he'll go down the other side. If you don't want to keep him, you don't bother pressing any one of the selector buttons, and he'll go straight across, and he'll go down here, and this is going to take the breeder through a little killing area, the villager through a little killing area, which is just some water with a block above it, so they'll suffocate. And then the minecart's going to be recycled all the way back to where it came from. So that's what a job we're going to do in a second. But before I do that, let's just have a play with the villagers. So if we click farmers to start with, just because they're not going to go anywhere. The lock's on. See, the lock's on, so nothing happens. Brilliant. And I know I keep banging on about this, but these guys, because of the breeder, because of my design for the breeder, these guys can't get fed. It's impossible for the breeding pair to feed the babies, so these guys haven't been fed, which means we can stack them side by side. Doesn't matter where they are, and they won't be able to breed. They've been neutered. But now I flick the dead man switch, we can get rid of them. Yoink! Reset. Start again. So we'll get rid of number 2. Look at that. Works like a charm. Fabulous. Who else don't we need? In fairness, we don't need any of them. What are you? You're a Fletcher, you're a shepherd, you're a fisherman. See, none of you guys, I don't want to keep any of you guys, you see, which is a perfect example of why we built this in the first place. Because if we hadn't, all of these guys would be in the main trading hall, taking up valuable space and being absolutely useless. Do I want to keep one of those? 36, you're not a bad one. We're looking at a big gold farm, and you might be useful with zombie pigmen, so maybe I'll keep you. But you guys, leather, we've got a leather farm, but 10 for 1. Do we need a leather farm? We don't need you. Butcher, we don't need you. I think we'll get rid of all of these. I think all of you are on your toes. Certainly don't need a shepherd. Yoink. Oops with my pick control. So what I'm going to do now is dig under here. I forgot what level I need to be at. I think I'm at the right level actually. Let me just double check. Because I want to run the line, the rail, underneath the rail that comes in. So I want to run it underneath this rail all the way back again. What level am I at here? I'm at level 57. So as long as I'm 2 blocks below that. Uh-oh. And I'm here at 53, so I'm well below. So I could potentially just run down that one more block. Not quite sure why that's got nothing in it. Grab myself some blocks. I'm going to dig a tunnel out. You don't want to see me digging holes, do you? I'll dig a tunnel all the way around to where the minecart's got to be returned to. Stick down a few rails, and then we'll stick some water in and see if we can get it working. Okay, so I've finished digging my tunnel that goes all the way around there and all the way over to where the sorter is, the drop zone kind of thing. So if you don't select a button, the villagers are going to come straight across here, down here, drop into the water. We're going to fill this back up again with stone. And with it only being 1 high now, the minecart is going to pass through it, but obviously the villagers aren't. And when it gets to here, it'll join the track again. So we'll stick down one of those. This is where I've got no inventory again. Need to get my shulker out and put some stuff in my shulker, don't I? What can I put away that I don't need for a minute? Get rid of some of that, get rid of some of that food. I'm going to need the cactus, get rid of some of that. Take out some powered rails. I don't believe I've got no normal rails in there. How could I not have normal rails? Oh, be prepared, son, be prepared. So I'm going to lay down some rails all the way to the drop zone sort of thing, and then you can join me when we get there. Okay, so we've got the cactus in now, which is going to break the minecart when it gets to this end. We'll just give it a quick try just to make sure. I've put loads of hoppers in down the bottom so it doesn't miss any. It very rarely does anyway, even if there's only one. But I've sort of gone a bit overkill there and put loads in because I don't want them to be floating about down here. So that goes down there, that goes down there, that goes back into there with a bit of stone that I've already dug out. Let me just stick one more in. I've got a spare one just to make sure they're going in there. Yeah, perfect. That should never run out. This leads up to the manual system at the moment up there, which is not ideal, and I will be sorting that out later. Brilliant. So now we need to get back up and put one of the guys through the paces, i.e. top them. I'm not worried too much about lighting in the tunnel either. There is a bit of light down here, but don't have to worry about it because it's only one wide and mobs won't spawn on rails, so it could be pitch black. And it wouldn't be a problem for mobs, but at the moment while we're running about down here it's best to have a bit of light. So if we block off, I think you only need a few blocks. It's only 2 or 3 blocks which will suffocate them. But I've put it the length of. Actually, what we'll do is we'll block these. We'll knock these out. Oh, I can't because I need them. I was going to say we'll knock this out and follow the guy down, but I can't because I need them to suffocate him in the first place. Okay. Right. We want to dispose of that guy. So we don't want to keep him, so we don't press any buttons. Dead man switches off. Dead. Very macabre, but it works. We don't want you. We don't want you. I've got to be careful as well that I don't lob them through too quickly. I don't want it to get backed up. I don't think it will. No. Oh, I'm sorry, mate. Yoink. What are you, leather worker? Don't want you. Don't want you. Fabulous, indeedy. It just recycles the minecarts. Very good. Right, do I want to keep you? I don't really, do I? I mean, let's face it. Oh, no, I don't. I'd just be keeping you for the sake of keeping you. Sorry. Now what I want to do is we'll flick that back on again. Is grab my redstone gear and I want to go up and fix the light that's above the villager breeder. Sorry, not the light, the on-off switch that's above the villager breeder, and that way I can turn it on and off. So I'll do that as my next to final job, and then we'll turn it back on again. Let me grab loads of food while I'm at it, if I've got space, and I'll feed a few more of them up there. See if we can get this thing running at a half decent rate. I don't want that just yet. Ultimately, obviously, all these potatoes are going to be shot up the top. Well, I say all of them, most of them. Yeah, they'll all go up the top. Sorry, I was thinking then, and I've lost my train of thought, and I'm running off in the wrong direction. We need to get up the top, so we need to go up in the nether, don't we? I ran through here earlier on, straight past the creeper. Don't even think he saw me because of speed. I was like the Flash. So we're going to go right up the top. Didn't even bring my redstone box anyway, so I can't do what I wanted to do. I'll have to do it later. Got a block though. I've got a block to turn it back on again. Got a block above the centre. Villager breeder is on. Have my elytra. Right, let's feed a few more of you guys. Which ones? You're already at it. I think the ones in the corners were the ones that got fed. Pretty sure it's just the ones in the corners. So we'll give you guys something to eat. Maybe I will feed the ones in the corners, why not? So now I'm pretty sure most of them have been fed. Well, I'm afraid we've run out of time again for today, everybody, so I hope you've enjoyed the episode, and if you have, please don't forget to leave it a like. And if you've really loved it, don't forget to subscribe for future videos. This is Fully Off by the New Villager Breeder, and I'm out of here.